Hello everyone, chapter 4 of The Homeless Kitten. Lily leaned forward eagerly, certain she'd seen a flash of white close by the old sofa. Perhaps the kitten's mom was a white cat. That would make sense, but she started to say, "Dad," but then she sighed. It wasn't the cat after all, just an old plastic bag flapping in the breeze. She shivered a little, even though it had been such a hot day. The woods were shady, especially now that the sun was starting to go down. She peered over at the sofa, wondering if the kittens were feeling chilly too. She and Dad had gone to check on them after Mom and Carly had left, and pulled the cushion back over them a little, but she couldn't help worrying. Over in the clearing, the white kitten huddled closer to his sisters, hunting for some warmth. Usually they were all snuggled up together against the mother, but without her body heat, the kittens were so small they couldn't keep themselves warm. He was getting colder and colder, and it was getting hard to move. He squeaked for his mother again, calling her to come back and feed them. But she didn't come. Exhausted and hungry, the tiny kitten tried to crawl farther under the cushions. Lily shifted position again. She was getting pins and needles from sitting still for so long, and she was hungry. It seemed like a long time ago that Mom had brought the sandwiches. She checked her watch. "Dad, it's 6 o'clock," she murmured, stretching out her feet and wiggling a bit. "I know. I'm going to call the shelter. It's been 7 hours now." He took out his phone, and Lily leaned closer to try and listen in. "Hi, I called earlier about some kittens our dog had found in Umbrella Woods." I'm definitely saying the name of the woods wrong, but I don't know how to say it. No sign of their mom coming back, I'm afraid. Would you be able to come and get them?" He paused for a minute or so, listening, and Lily saw an anxious expression appear on his face, little creases over the top of his nose. "Oh, no, don't do that. Maybe we can help. Look, give me a minute. Let me talk to my wife and get back to you." He listened for a little longer, saying, mm-hmm. And Lily squeezed even closer, desperate to know what was going on. "Dad, what happened?" she burst out as soon as he ended the call. And then we have a picture. Okay. The shelter's really full. All of their foster parents have kittens already. The manager was saying she'd call around and see who could squeeze them in. Apparently this is kitten season. He laughed a little nervously. So what's going to happen to our kittens? Lily asked. "Will they go to one of these foster people? Will they be all right?" Dad was silent for a minute, running his hand down the back of Hugo's neck. "Actually, Lily, I'm wondering if we could take them just until they can find someone to foster them." "What?" Lily squeaked, and she was so surprised and excited she actually jumped up and down. Do you mean we Do you mean it? We can take them home?" "Hold on, slow down a minute. I'm only talking about us looking after them until there's space for them with a foster parent. Since it's an emergency, and I said I'd have to talk to your mom about it. There's no point getting excited just yet." "I know," Lily's voice was shaking. Those tiny kittens, hers to look after. If only Mom would say yes." She watched eagerly as Dad called home. Then we have another picture. Can't see the dad's face. There we go. "Sarah, it's me. Yes, I called them, but there's a problem apparently. They're really full. The lady I spoke to earlier didn't realize." but all their kitten fosters have got litters of kittens. No, we're not going to leave them. Listen, what do you think about us looking after them for a little? The shelter manager, she's the one I just spoke to said she'd send someone out to help us take them home. They'll bring some kitten formula and some information sheets on how to care for them if we agree. He went quiet for a moment, and Lily pressed closer. She could hear her mom's voice squeaking in the background, and she wished Dad had put the speaker on. Yes, I know the shelter manager mentioned that. I can't say I'm happy about getting up in the middle of the night, but I feel responsible for them. They're so little. Dad, what's the matter? Lily interrupted. What's Mom saying? Why can't we do it? Because they're so young, they'll need bottle feeding. Lily, Mom isn't sure we'll be up to it. We'd have to get up in the middle of the night, probably. Lily grabbed his arm. But I could help, couldn't I? It's summer vacation. I don't mind, Dad, please. It's like we were meant to find them. We came along just at the right time. We can't give up on them now. Dad sighed. Did you hear all that? He said in the phone. Yes, I know. Maybe she is old enough to help out. You know how much she loves cats. Okay, Dad smiled at Lily. Yes, I'll call the shelter back and tell them. He ended the call and laughed. Wow, this was definitely not what I was expecting when we came out for a walk this morning. We can put them in here, Amy explained, showing Lily and Dad a cardboard travel box that she'd brought with her. She seemed really nice, Lily thought. She'd told them that she remembered Hugo from the shelter and that he'd grown into such a handsome, well-behaved dog. I've put a hot water bottle in for them, wrapped up in some towels. If they've been without their mother all day, they're probably really cold. Kittens this young can't control their own temperature, you see. They need their mom's body heat to keep them warm, even though it's been so hot today. If we leave them here overnight without her, they're at risk of hypothermia. That's getting too cold to survive. How old do you think they are? Okay, there's a picture and that. Okay. Lily asked, leaning over to look at the kittens. They were still moving, squirming around and nuzzling one another, but she was sure they weren't as lively as they had been when they first saw them. Hard to say exactly, maybe 2 to 3 weeks. Their eyes are open, but they don't look big enough to be walking yet. Soon, though. And then a picture, even though I just showed you some. Okay. They don't look as bright as they did this morning, Dad said. I was thinking that too, Lily bit her lip. Oh no, maybe we waited too long for their mom to come back. Amy shook her head. I don't think so. I know it sounds harsh, but the best person to look after them is definitely their mom. She's built for feeding them, cleaning them, keeping them warm. If we take them away from her, we're giving the kittens second best. Do you see what I mean? So if there'd been any chance that their mom was going to come back and care for them, it was better to let her. Dad thinks she might have been run over, Lily said, gazing down at the kittens. Amy nodded. It's possible, I'm afraid. Or she may just not have been able to feed them. Either way, I think we have to assume she's not coming back. She opened the travel box and gently reached in to pick up one of the tabby kittens. Hugo whined and Amy laughed. You're such a good boy, aren't you? Are you taking over for their mom, Hugo? She put the kitten gently into the box, and Hugo nosed at the cardboard flaps, clearly making sure that the kitten was all right. We wouldn't usually put foster kittens with a family who had a dog, but this is a bit of an emergency. Now I'll come back to the house with you if that's okay and help you set up a safe pen to keep them in. Amy picked up the other tabby kitten and Lily watched anxiously as the white kitten gave a feeble mew. The kitten looked so small, left all on its own. "Can I pick this one up?" Lily whispered. He was hardly moving. "Sure." Lily picked up the tiny kitten. He wasn't much bigger than her cupped hands and carefully moved him over to the box. He squirmed around and gave another squeaky breath of a mew, but then he cuddled up next to the two tabby kittens again, snuggling against the warmth of the hot water bottle. Lily looked up at Dad with shining eyes. Let's take them home." Alright, that's the end of chapter 4. There was a picture here, but the page didn't stop, or the sentence didn't stop, so I continued. Alright, well, goodbye, and chapter 5 eventually.